Hey, good morning, guys. Just wanted to come on and give you kind of like an overview of the answers from yesterday, just kind of speak to them a little bit. For the most part, it looked like people were comfortable. People did a good job kind of forming the process. Some questions about how to get to that final answer. So I think maybe seeing my work and kind of listening to me as I go through each problem might help. So, you're given two identities that you need to expand. You're given this one right here and this one right here. So one at a time, you're going to expand them. Remember, continue to look back at your identity sheet. This way, you're just being mindful of the signs. I expanded this out, okay? That's the first one right here. Then it's plus the second one, okay? And then once that gets expanded, you look to group like terms. There's always going to be something that cancels. Then there's always going to be something that combines. Because we have two of these, I wrote 2 sine x cosine of pi over 3. At this point, you're going to take the trig function and the angle. So you're going to take the cosine pi over 3, and you're going to think to yourself, well, what is the x value? What is cosine of pi over 3? So if it helps, think of your points. Pi over 3 is 1/2, comma root 3 over 2. It's just pi over 3, so you don't have to worry about the signs. They're both positive here. It's in quadrant 1. And because it's x, it's 1/2. So then I input that into the problem. Now I look to just kind of simplify. 2 times sine x times 1/2. Because you're multiplying, it doesn't matter the order. I'm just going to multiply 2 times 1/2, and that's just 1, but I didn't bother to write it there. I just wrote sine x. And then at that point, once you kind of simplify again here, you ask yourself, all right, well, what is the y coordinate, or what angle has a y value of 1? Okay, so just be careful. This one only had one answer because the y value down here is -1. So my answer here was just pi over 2. All right. When you see cosine, you just want to be a little more mindful just because the signs, the way the identity works. So just sometimes when you see addition, you're subtracting. So expand it out. When you are subtracting, just be careful. That's when I use the parentheses here. So I'm subtracting this entire quantity, and basically then you distribute the negative in, so those signs would change. Well, hey, Liv. All right, my daughter wants to do a little pre-calc with us. All right, okay. So you distribute that negative in, and once you do that, those signs would change. And then again, just look to see what you can cancel out, right? These would cross out. Combine the other terms. We have 2 of these now, but they're both negative. So it's -2 sine x, sine pi over 2. At this point, just like in the last problem, you're going to identify this and think to yourself, okay, what is the y coordinate of pi over 2? It's 1. -2 times 1 is -2. From here, you got to continue to simplify, just like you would an equation. Get sine x by itself. So divide by -2. In doing so, we now have sine x equals -1/2. All right, so the y value is 1/2. That's going to be pi over 6, but because it's negative, it's in quadrants 3 and 4. So our answers are 7 pi and 11 pi over 6.
Mommy.
All right, want to get down? Okay. All right, go ahead. All right, and the next one, same thing, expand it out. It's very repetitive in that you're going to use the identities, take your time setting it up. Once you set it up, you're always going to cancel 2 terms out. You're always going to combine the other 2 terms. Then once you get to this step, you need to look at this part here and ask yourself, all right, we now have to replace we have to put a value into the problem, okay, because we know of cosine of 5 pi over 3. So 5 pi over 3 is in the 4th quadrant, but x is positive in the 4th quadrant. The x coordinate is 1/2, right? So I put 1/2 in, and then 2 times 1/2 is just 1. So again, it's just sine x equals -root 3 over 2. Think about those special angles. Y is negative in the quadrants 3 and 4. All right. Again, if you're having trouble with this step right here, All right, Liv. 2 times 1/2, right, is just 1. And that's why it's just 1 sine x. All right, and number 4, again, see if you can follow along with what I did here. Because it's subtraction, right, I'm going to put a minus, then I'm going to expand this term. After I expand this term, I now have to distribute the negative. You don't have to write it exactly like I did. You could just kind of, put a minus here if you'd like, put a plus, whatever you want, because at this point, you're then just going to cross things out, right? They would cross out. You're going to combine the cosines. And once you combine, again, you're looking for this step to now put a value into the problem, to ask yourself, what is the y coordinate of 5 pi over 4? Well, 5 pi over 4 is in the third quadrant. The y value in the third quadrant is negative, so that's why I put a negative root 2 over 2. Multiply 2 times negative root 2 over 2 by each other. These 2's would cancel. Get cosine x by itself. You would have to rationalize. And once you rationalize, you should have root 2 over 2. All right. Ask yourself, what 2 angles in this case have a cosine value, an x value of root 2 over 2, and cosine is in quadrants 1. Cosine's positive, in quadrants 1 and 4. So that's why our answer here is pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. So I'm going to say for you to go over this, to listen to the answers today. Hopefully that helps. And I'm going to post an assignment, just a quick review. All right, literally maybe might just put 2 questions in there. So it'll be like a 2-question review, and then we have a quiz for class 7. Our quiz will be tomorrow. For class 2, your quiz will be on Thursday. Okay. That's it, guys. And this quiz will be rather short. All right. It's only going to be maybe 4 questions, similar to like the length of this worksheet. All right. So good luck. Let me know if you have questions. Hopefully this video helps. Try to do the review. Take your time. Go through it. And I'll talk to you later.